and so now we are in Chernobyl. It is in 18 kilometers from Chernobyl nuclear power plant.
Okay.
As for our today's route, we will enter inside of the 10-kilometer zone, so it's another checkpoint. So we'll drive around the nuclear power plant with several stops. And finally we'll visit Prypiat town, former company town of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which was resettled first after the accident. Okay. Well, and as for Chernobyl town, now we are here. This is the ancient town. It was found more than 1,000 years ago. And in 1970, it was found nuclear power plant. Later it was named Chernobyl because it was the territory of Chernobyl district. Okay. At the same time it was found Prypiat town, like a living place for workers of the nuclear power plant. Accident 1986, and sure, well, all this territory was contaminated, and that's why it became a need to evacuate all this territory around the nuclear power plant. So primary character of contamination in scale wasn't clear, that's why according to radiation safety norms from those time, all people on the distance of 30 kilometers were removed from here, were resettled. This is the first exclusion zone, which was established in 86, and it included Ukrainian territories and Belarusian territory too. 1991, Soviet Union collapsed, so there it was renovated state border between Ukraine and Belarus. Ukraine had got its own territory with the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in it, and Belarus has to establish their own exclusion zone. So
Belarus still has an exclusion zone, though?
Yes.
Like it will be still
right now, with the status of like a radiological reservation. Because as for Ukrainian side, it's got industrial object there, like nuclear power plant, and Belarus just abandoned villages. Well, and so it's just a reservation, something like that. Well, and later, when it was clear the character and scale of contamination, because they carried out serious radiological monitoring of all neighborhood areas, and it was created such map. So it became clear first days after the accident wind was blowing to the west. Yes. Here we've got the western trace of radioactivity migration. And somewhere there it was the first border of exclusion zone. And we can realize that the scale of contamination outside got the same character like inside and even more. To become clear, I have to show this map. Cesium 137 contamination map of exclusion zone. And scale of contamination in curie per square kilometer. Normal we consider less than 3. Dark spots on the map that show 500. This is the first border of exclusion zone. Well, and we can realize that some territories outside were contaminated more seriously than some territories inside. That's why in 1991, Ukrainian government made a decision to resettle all these territories to the west from the exclusion zone of 86. In result of all these evacuations or settlement, they were resettled 4 towns, well, Prypiat, Chernobyl, Vilcha, Poleskaya, and 94 small settlements of village type. Totally, it's about 130,000 people who were resettled from the exclusion zone in different times. In the modern time, we've got 2 main directions of human activity. One of them is taking care of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It doesn't generate energy more, it's in the process of decommission. Yes. And another direction, taking care for the exclusion zone. And the final task is to minimize migration of radioactivity outside of the exclusion zone. Well, as for Chernobyl nuclear power plant, now it's a key problem and most important of the exclusion zone. Well, and but 4,000 people are still employed here. It doesn't generate energy more, but 4,000 people are employed, and they permanently live inhabiting in Slavutic town. This is a new company town which was found in 1986, especially for the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, like compensation of Prypiat town. So every morning by train, people go into their job places to the nuclear power plant, and in the afternoon they go back home. About 4,000 people are employed in companies of exclusion zone, Well, all these companies are concentrated in Chernobyl. It was evacuated on the 5th of May of 86, and in the modern time exists like shift settlement, an industrial center of an administration center of a Chernobyl exclusion zone. That's why it doesn't look like abandoned. Maybe you've noticed a lot of people walking around here. Apartment houses, they're still in use, but like hostels for workers of the exclusion zone. Because people stay in Chernobyl during the shift time. What does mean shift? So, 16 days in a month, people stay in Chernobyl and work. And after that, at the same time, they have like vacation. Well, it's a shift method. So another schedule of work. So on Monday by buses people go to Chernobyl, stay here till Thursday, and on Thursday they go back home. 4,000 people. As for Chernobyl nuclear power plant, so let's see on this poster, we can see a general view to the industrial complex of the nuclear power plant. So this is the first stage, reactiveness number 1 and 2, and second stage number 3 and 4. Number 1, it was in operation from 1977 till December of 1996. It was shut down according to an agreement between G7 countries and President of Ukraine. Number 2, it was in operation from 1978 till October of 1991. In 1991, a turbine generator, one of the turbine generators of number 2 flamed, turned into fire. So fortunately radiation hadn't got released, but from those time number 2 is not operated. So number 3 was in operation from 1981 till December 15 of 2000. So it was last operated reactor into Chernobyl nuclear power plant at all.
Yes, I believe
and
it's still running.
Number 4, in 2 years of operation, and as a result of explosions, was completely destroyed.
Yes.
So nowadays, Chernobyl nuclear power plant doesn't generate energy more, decommission no time-taking process. And so there on these posters, pictures, you can see different aspects of our life. It shows how close Prypiat town from reactor unit number 4.
Yes.
Just 2 kilometers distances between them. Well, and other aspects, so a special category of people who still inhabiting in the exclusion zones, so settlers, people which were evacuated in '86, but anyway they decided to go back home. So nowadays we have about 250 people living in the exclusion zone permanently. The explosion was not allowed to take the ground, but it was contaminated.
Yes.
That's why it was made decision to construct the surface system of hot water supply of the town. Well, a lot of buildings are still in use here, like former apartments and offices. Well, and 70% of the town there were small cottages, and they are almost abandoned. So when we'll come back from the Prypiat town, if you'd like, we could make a short tour around Chernobyl.
Please, yeah. Where the boats are? Can we get that
boats,
far?
yeah, we'll see this place where boats were.
Yeah, the work.
Because I know last time a world market demands high prices on the metal. That's why scrap metal from the exclusion
right.
became useful too.
Okay, fair enough.
That's good. So now that on the right side we can make stop at the local fire station.
Okay.
It's still in operation. The monument to firefighters, which was constructed in 1996 to commemorate 10 years of the accident and to commemorate people who died.